It's 2026 already, so let's talk about the Pokemon market and your Pokemon investments going into the early parts of 2026. What you should be expecting, how you can take advantage of the current markets, and how you can get the most out of your Pokemon investments. Let's take a look at what's going to happen here, what your best angles might be, and some of the products you should be looking at moving forward right after this. All right, everybody, as I said earlier, it is already 2026. The market has changed going into the 2026 year. A lot of things have come to an end in 2025. And what advantages for your Pokemon investments should you be looking at, and what repercussions might we have moving forward into 2026? So let's take a look at the market itself. Well, ending 2025, of course, a lot of people have heard the titles that have been running around: crash, drop, fall, collapse, all the words, key phrases that bring you into these videos. They've all been talked about. Is that really true? Is that something that we should be concerned about moving into 2026? And is now a time to buy because of the current changes for your Pokemon investment? Well, the market changes have been here, but I think a lot of points have been missed when it comes to why it has occurred. Number one thing that a lot of people haven't discussed is the amount of sets that have been released in the last few months. That's right, coming into the end of 2025, we kind of had a bottleneck when you're talking about the Pokemon TCG, and not just the Pokemon TCG. We also had One Piece in there. We also had Magic the Gathering coming in as well, really putting some pressure on the actual market and when it comes down to your TCG collectibles. Now, does that mean that the Pokemon market is collapsing because of it? No, I don't believe that that's actually the truth. When you sit there and look and you think about the last 6 months in the Pokemon TCG, we have had a total of 4 sets released in a 6-month period. And that means we had Destin's Rival, Black and White, both released in that time frame. We also had Mega 1 and also Phantasmal Flames, all within a 4 to 5 month period, which really put a lot of stress leading into the holiday season, along with the costs of the holiday season for the people that don't buy gifts of Pokemon TCG for their family members. And when you see a bottleneck, you start to see a restriction in the amount of sales. And when you see a restriction in the amount of sales, that of course turns into a lower market cap because less people are buying. People need to have cash flow. And when people need cash flow, they will continue to drop the pricing to get people to buy. And that's how the systemic drop in the market occurs. Does that mean that the market's collapsing? No, it does not. It does not mean that the market itself is collapsing. What that does mean is that we finally came to a point in the market where we are getting some sustainability. We're starting to see some topping out, and we're also starting to see some organic drop, which is a correction in the market. Now, the real question is, to a lot of people in the Pokemon investing side of the Pokemon TCG, is that going to actually continue, or is this going to be a short-lived drop in the Pokemon TCG? And personally, by what I'm seeing, is it going to be short-lived? And I'll give you a couple examples on why. Number one is that the distribution still does not have any more product. If we go and try and contact our distribution right now, there still is no availability for most of the Pokemon TCG unless you want some of the off-ball stuff, such as deck boxes or some of the other products like battle decks. Those are still available. But actual sleeve blisters, booster boxes, ETBs, or the 3-pack blisters or normal sales items that people want to open aren't available to anybody out there currently. And that's one factor that I have in that reasoning. Number two is that we're already seeing a correction right now coming into 2026 in the other direction because of those reasonings. We don't have a huge supply. If we don't see a huge supply of product hitting the shelves to where we start seeing availability more up, we're going to run into a problem with supply and demand. Once again, a TCG is always driven by supply and demand on the investment side. And without more supply, the demand is still going to eat up whatever's available out there. And when that happens, the price will go up again just because of the fact that there isn't anything replacing the loss of products. Even myself, opening live or selling on my website, it's still been consistent. Even with the Pokemon drop, the price drop, and everything in the high-end stuff of things, if you've been in the middle of the run when it comes down to your pricing, the continued sales has just been there. It has not really changed. The number of orders I've had have continued to move out. The money I'm bringing in is about the same, if not more, actually, through the holiday season. And this is a factor when it comes down to it. So yes, the scalpers, the high-end sellers, the people are trying to make max dollar and just setting ridiculous pricing, they're falling and the prices are coming down. But we can already see Destin's Rivals booster boxes going back up in price. We can go to Mega 1 going back up in price. We can go to Surging Sparks going back up in price. All of them that have dropped during this time period have continued to move down and come back up. And that's why I think that futuristically going into 2026, the market still is strong. We have a very good opportunity in the Pokemon TCG to get good Pokemon investments and to see good growth on the people who are getting good pricing on their Pokemon investments. So what are we looking forward to when it comes down to products to invest into going into 2026? So going into 2026 here in February, of course, the first thing off is going to be the next celebration. That's right. We are going into the 30th anniversary of the Pokemon TCG. And when we're talking about that, that means another round of the 5-year gambit of products that come out that we actually look forward to for these celebrations, such as Generation Celebrations, and whatever they're calling the next generation here for the 30th anniversary. This means that we're going to get opportunities for products that only come around once every 5 years, usually specialized or specific for the current generation or run of the Pokemon TCG. And it's also the collectible side of these products that we really are interested in for the long term of these products. So if you were here in celebrations, of course, a lot of us invested into those products. And now we are all excited to jump into the next set for the 30th anniversary. Number one, for our own collections, and number two, for the investment opportunities that they will bring forward. That is part of the reason why I don't think 2026 is going to stay down for the Pokemon market unless we see a real dousing of product. But I don't see Pokemon really pulling that off right now at this point in time. So that's the reasoning on why I think that we're going to see a good market. And this is one of the top items that I think a lot of us are going to be looking into for the Pokemon TCG going into 2026. A lot of us are doubling down, putting money away, and really getting ready to focus on that particular side of the Pokemon TCG on the investment side. But I do think that there's going to be a large amount of products and availability on these. And that's going to come down to something I'm going to talk about futuristically in the video if you hang with me. Next thing I want to talk about for good investments is going to be products that are going out of rotation. And why do I say those are good items to buy? Well, futuristically, they are going to be no more. They're not going to be printed anymore by the Pokemon TCG. And if you look back, they're going out of rotation. So that means they are now going to not get any more product from the Pokemon TCG, such as products in the first era of the Scarlet and Violet, going all the way back to the first year. So you're talking base set, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, Paradox Rift, and also Paldean Feeds, all in that little cluster of products that will probably not see any more print, which means the supply is only going to start disappearing more and more. As more of this product is open, as more people continue to chase the Charizard out of Obsidian Flames, more people continue to chase the Magikarp out of Paldea Evolved. This is all going to create a product disappearing act of the sealed side, which is going to cause the product value to go up. That's what happens, and a correction at some point may occur again as the prices and the market shift, but I don't think it's going to compensate for the amount of product leaving on those particular items. You can take a look at Sword and Shield and see the same effect. Any of the products that were there had very large gains after they went out of rotation for a year or two. Yes, they had a little bit of a correction here at the end, but it nowhere near chewed up the gains that we've seen on those products in the last year. So overall, as products go out of rotation, we know that supply starts to diminish on them. And when supply diminishes on them, that means that the product pricing is going to continue to go up. Now, that doesn't mean that's the same application for singles or graded, but it's definitely the case when it comes down to sealed. Now, we're going to also talk about the next part that I'm looking at investing right now is going to be the second year of Scarlet and Violet. I feel with the celebration set coming up here in 2026, plus the fact that Ascending Heroes, they just cannot produce product for, they are not going to go back to like Temporal Forces. They are not going to go back to Shrouded Fable, and they are probably not going to go back to Stellar Crown right now and do massive reprints of these particular sets. Why? Because they can't keep up with what the demand is now. They've got Ascended Heroes spread out over, 4 or 5 months of release periods, starting off with just text stickers to start off with, and the 3-pack blisters. not even the main substance of what we're looking at in the specialty set. No ETBs, no 6-pack bundles, no collection boxes. Collection boxes come out 3 weeks after the text stickers and 3-pack blisters. We're waiting another 3 weeks for 6-pack bundles, and then we're waiting another 4 weeks for booster boxes. So it is spread out a long period of time. And to me, that's also going to cause an issue with that particular set on the pricing, because the demand is going to be there, but the products aren't going to be there. And the actual packs are going to be very, very restricted when it comes down to these sets, and they're going to come out in small spurts. That's going to be a factor also moving into that particular set, which also tells me Pokemon doesn't have the availability to keep up with the print. And with a celebration set coming up, they're really going to need the printing facilities to keep up with that as well, with the demand of that specialty set that they're creating. Probably going to be releasing in October here in the United States. Generations did, and Celebrations. That's all speculation, unknown at this point in time. But we'll be hearing more of that coming forward as well for what we're looking at for the releases on these. But to me, the bottleneck in the printing is definitely showing, and it's going to continue to be an issue when it comes down to the actual supply in the Pokemon TCG. No supply is also going to create another spike in the pricing. We need to get more product. If you want to see a continued down market and continue to see a collapse of this market, you have to starve the scalpers. You have to starve the people that are making quick flips. You can still make quick flips. And as long as that's going to occur, the pricing is going to start to move the other way as it starts to disappear off the store shelves. And if you call a distributor right now, they don't have anything to give you. And that's another factor that's going to continue driving these pricing. One factor that I think that needs to be put on the table, and I'm going to put it out to you right now in this video when we're talking about potential investments in the early 2026, is that Millennial Print Group just opened up another facility, or increased the square footage that they're renting for a facility, which means they're going to increase their printing capabilities in-house. Now, does that translate into more Pokemon products in the English market? We don't know. Either they just opening that up because of the celebration sets and they want to have that up and running in time to be able to produce for that. We don't know. But right now, it's a real question is how fast can they get that up and running, number one? And number two, what the long-term effects and the plan is for what they are printing in that facility. And is that going to affect the amount of product available to the general public when it comes down to the Pokemon TCG? That's really going to be the real question. I do want to put it out there as a side note. It's something to be kind of watching, because when they get that print facility up and running, they're going to want to print something. And I'm wondering what it's going to be and what amounts we're going to see when it comes down to that, and how quickly they can get it up and running. So there's some factors out there that could hurt your Pokemon investment. I do want to put them out there. I don't think that they're going to go back and print the beginning of this of 2024 products. I think that they're going to start focusing on 2025, 2026 products, and also into the celebrations product for the 30th anniversary that we have coming up as well. Those are going to be the main focuses, such as Destin's Rivals, Journey Together, Surging Sparks, even Stellar Crown. I could see being right there as a product that they will probably be on the docket for printing if they had more printing space availability. But I don't know if they're going to go back further in that. Twilight Masquerade, we might see something small come. We've already got ETBs. We've also gotten some other small things here and there with Twilight Masquerade. Also, Temporal Forces. Do I see them going back and printing Temporal Forces? Probably not. Really not high in the playing sets right now, which is also a factor to why they would go back and reprint large quantities of it. So there again, I'm kind of starting to focus my investing right now into that first year of the Scarlet and Violet era. So if I'm looking at it, anything in the first run, such as base set, going into Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, Paradox Rift, and also going into Paldean Fates. Those are really the primary sets that I'm focusing on. And I'm also not afraid to start focusing on Temporal Forces and also into Twilight Masquerade. I think that those sets are to a point where we're probably not going to see much coming in those. And I feel a little bit more secure in purchasing into those ones as well. Even if they continue to go down in price, I will continue to buy down on them, because I think that overall value is going to be there. The print just hasn't been here in the current era. And I think that that's going to be a really good factor for Scarlet and Violet futuristically when we're talking about investments in the Pokemon TCG. So hopefully, if you made it this far, let me know in the comments. Do you guys enjoy this kind of content? Number one. Number two, do you see other investments out there right now in the Scarlet and Violet era that you think are going to do really well? potentially in that beginning, or even maybe a modern thing, something in Phantasmal Flames that you think will do really well. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. And last but not least, make sure you guys hit that subscribe. If you made it this far into the video, obviously I piqued your interest. So help me out, hit that subscribe. Let's join the channel. Hit that like button to help me out. And last but not least, hit that share and notify so that you bring new people into the channel. And number two, you know when we're doing new videos here on Northwoods TCG. We also do a live every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, 9 p.m. Central Time. Tuesday is going to be our market talk and what's happening, and I also bring in guests on Tuesday. And then Friday and Sunday are just our rip and ship. If you want to have fun opening up Pokemon TCG products or seeing what the hits are out of particular products, come and join us for those two lives. Enjoy, sit down, and have a talk with us as well. We talk all night long about what's happening, have some fun jokes and everything else, and giveaways with that as well. So other than that, guys, thank you everybody for joining us. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. Be safe in your travels in the winter months. We hope to see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.